All right, guys, we're back for part 2 of lesson 2. All right, so I have looked up a couple of resources that we're going to use to identify what these 4 pieces of information are. Why is the Statue of Liberty wearing a crown? What do the words on the tablet or the book that she's holding in her hand mean? Why is the statue holding a fire torch? What does it mean? And why is the statue wearing a robe? What do all of these things mean? We're using a lot of question words. Who, what, why, when, where. We've asked a lot of those 5 W question words and H question words as we went along, and that's really good. You want to catch yourself whenever you're asking those questions and kind of notice, okay, I'm using my words. We love that. Okay, so I want to go on and look at my new, at my piece of information that I've got. So let's see. I have looked up, this is from a website, but I went ahead and printed it out so it will be easier for me to show it to you guys. This is the National Park Service, the Governor's Island. The heading of this website says, design your very own Statue of Liberty and become a junior ranger. So that's pretty interesting, but that's not the part that we're going to look at. So, over on the next page, after we look at that first part, it says, like the National Park Service arrowhead, which is right here. This is a National Park Service arrowhead. The different parts of the Statue of Liberty represent different things, and it gives us a little, a really nice diagram right here. So what it's telling us is that each piece of the Statue of Liberty represents a certain piece of information, which is exactly what I was thinking. I know that because of the things that were done whenever the statue was built, that there must be some significance behind each of those symbols. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to look at this diagram, and it's going to tell us just exactly what each of those things represent, and then we're going to add it to our chart so that we know. And we're also going to be adding all of this into our file folder of information about the Statue of Liberty. This is going to be great. Okay, so let's look. The first one says it's pointing to the torch. So here it is. It's pointing to the torch. It says the torch represents the idea that light or enlightenment is needed to achieve freedom. You have to see freedom or know it exists to achieve it. So, we know in America that our country is a free country. Our country has freedom. That means that anybody can come over from another country or another place, and they can come over and they can live and they can have jobs, and they can believe in whatever religion they want. They can walk outside and wear whatever clothes they want. We have freedom to do what we want and believe the way that we want to. So this torch represents that freedom. It's actually really touching to think of the fact that our country has all of these freedoms. In other places, this is not the case. So that's one of the things that makes our country really special. So just this torch that seems so small to scale on this entire huge monument, this huge national landmark, this small piece of it, it represents so much, and it's so important for you to know. So we're going to add that to our what I learned side of our chart. The torch represents freedom. I don't know about you, but that really makes me really, really happy and makes my heart feel really warm to think that our country is a free country, and it welcomes people in, and that symbol, it represents freedom. So we have something to represent that. Let's keep going. So now we're going to move down. The chart is pointing to the crown. Okay. It says the 7 points of the crown represent the 7 seas and 7 continents of the world. They show the idea that liberty is a universal idea to be shared all over the world. Wow! I didn't even notice before that there are 7 points on the crown. I really did not. Let's look at this close-up picture that I have printed out right here, and let's see if we can count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's right. And it says that they represent the 7 continents and the 7 seas that we have in the world. And then it says they show the idea that liberty is a universal idea. Remember, we know that liberty means freedom from video number 1. And it says, and it's to be shared all over the world. So this symbol, this statue and her crown, it doesn't only represent the country of America, the United States, but it represents the entire world. And it shows how the points that are there, and it shows that it represents liberty all over the world, and how people from all over the world can come in and join us in our freedom in our country. That is amazing. And that's really a groundbreaking, breathtaking thing to think about, that the crown that is being worn on the top of this statue that was given from another country is to represent the liberty and the freedom that is all around our country, and represented right here in America for the entire world. That's amazing. So let's add that on there. The 7 points of the crown represent the 7 continents and the 7 seas. And I hope that you know what the 7 continents and the 7 seas are. That's a really good thing to know. If you don't yet, you will. Okay, so then next, it points to that tablet that's in the hand of the Statue of Liberty. This is one that I'm really interested to find out about, because we can't really see the quality of the photo really well. We can't really tell what's on it. It says Lady Liberty. Oh, that's a new name. I haven't heard that yet. Remember me thinking that the statue was called Liberty Girl? Maybe that's where that come from, Lady Liberty. If I would have said Liberty Lady, I might have been a little bit closer on spot with the name. It says Lady Liberty is holding a tablet or a book of laws. Okay, so it's a tablet and a book, same thing, with the date July 4th, 1776 written on the cover. The book represents the need for laws to help protect freedom. Oh, wow. Okay. And then it asks the question, what famously happened on July 4th, 1776? I know. That is the day that America became a free country. That is the day that we celebrate our independence. That is Independence Day. So that is a really neat fact, okay? So this is what, in Roman numerals, it looks like. That's what is inscribed on this tablet, this book of laws, July 4th, 1776. Another piece of information that we can add on to that we can gather from our prior knowledge, is we remember that October 28th, 1886 is when the statue arrived. So it was exactly 100 years from the time that America had become a free country. 100 years later, the Statue of Liberty was brought over. So that is a really important piece of information. Wow, I did not know that. I had no idea that was the case. So we're going to put that on there. The tablet that the statue's hand is holding has the date of American independence. So whenever we become free from Britain, free from the British, we were our own country on that day, July the 4th. So now whenever you're popping firecrackers on the 4th of July or celebrating with your family, you know exactly what it was. And you can tell them, hey, 100 years later, in 1886, the Statue of Liberty was brought over to America. That's so cool. And then the next thing that we're going to look at, it's pointing right here to the robe. It says the robe represents Libertas, the Roman goddess of liberty and freedom. Wow. So even the robe has significance. It says that the statue's robe represents a goddess of liberty and freedom. We know liberty and freedom to be very similar words. They mean freedom for all, which is what our country stands on, the idea of freedom. So that's what the robe stands for. So whenever Frederick Bartholdi was designing this, whenever he was getting ready to build this, he knew, okay, I'm going to make her wear a robe, and it's going to represent freedom and liberty for all. Wow. This was so much good information. I am so excited to have all of this in and to know all of this and to know the significance of those 4 key details, the robe, the torch, the crown, and the tablet. I feel like such an expert now that I can tell you what those 4 key details are about. Those are going to be the first things that people see when they look at the Statue of Liberty, and you now know all about it, as well as myself. I'm so excited. Those are some of the key details that I need to include on my poster. Those are just some of the things that I might need to be looking for. Okay, so we're about to skip over to part 3 because we've got something else that I want to look at before we close out and continue on to part 4. Bye, guys.